the way that I wrote it was feeling more fears about my own inadequacies as a man, or was I masculine enough, and all of that. So like, I guess younger me, very literal interpretation of it is to have the female student be passed over and kind of look at that whole dynamic, but from a darker and more comedic sort of space, stylized just in general, exaggerated. But yeah, Anna was always the brown belt who was passed over. The original actor who was going to play, I guess that was Thomas, who ended up doing the fight with her, was going to be David Zellner, who's a director. And he's the blue belt who gets his arm broken in the film. And at a certain point, we switched David to the blue belt character, and we were able to use Steve Terada, who's a karate expert, mainly a tricking karate expert, but he's also a black belt, a legit black belt as well in karate. And having him be a stunt performer who actually knows karate, it just elevated what we could do with that fight immensely. So my stunt coordinator, Mindy Kelly, she originally was trying to design it for 2 non-fighters. And once she got to use her friend Steve, everything kind of changed. And we just went bigger and bigger with it. And before I forget too, because I got to give credit to her, Imogen Poots, who plays Anna in the film, she's the reason why when she takes Thomas's back, she starts back healing him in the balls.
In the groin,
So we were testing. We were like, she was learning the fight, and she goes, "Could I kick him in the balls?" And I was like, "Yeah, like let's go for it." Like really. So it made it even worse than it would have already been, which is very funny to me. But I can't thank the performers enough for like throwing themselves into it the way they did. And I've got some fun stories about like shooting it and kind of realization of how good Imogen was that initially I wasn't kind of anticipating, but yeah, it was a fun day on set.
Yeah. Could you, and we'll drop this in the video podcast, but you sent us some of the rehearsal videos, and she was really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. By the time we got to set, I guess I'll kind of go into one of them it was really cool because my DP and I were setting up the shots, and we were about to go. And I was like, let's probably use our stunt actor first, our stunt performer first, because we're going to get behind. And when we're behind, we don't have to show her face. We'll get probably better cells and all this stuff. And I saw Imogen kind of go, okay, like fine. And we did it with our stunt performer a couple of times. We're like, oh, that was really good. Like, okay, let's throw Imogen in, and threw her in. And immediately we were like, every hit was selling way better. Not to knock our stunt performer, it's just like Imogen went for it. And we did 2 takes from this one angle, and I was just like, I think that was better than what we had just done. And then so we kept her on, and we did all the stuff that every single bit of the performance in the movie is Imogen, except for when she enters kind of that berimbolo section and she takes the back of Steve's character. But literally every other shot of that is Imogen. But she also had a stunt performer to work with too, which is great.
Sure. Now that you mentioned the take the back part, when Steve and I were talking before about how we looked at the scene, and I think I had a small influence of wondering if part of the brutality was kind of revenge for what happened to Casey. When you shot it, there was the back take. And then she beat the shit out of him and got up.
Yeah.
And in the script, there was the comparison of the kickstart,
the kick, yeah.
So I think that when I read that, it emphasized more in the fact that there was maybe she has a little bit of a crush on Casey, is so messed up she has no idea how to show it, and this was kind of it.
Yeah, I never thought about them in terms of like an attraction or a relationship. I wanted that to feel more like if the audience wanted to think about that, they could. But for her and Casey, it was all about karate. I didn't want to have like a false romance in there.
Sure. Right.
But I think that there was a sense of respect. And like you said, maybe a bit of revenge on behalf of Casey and all the students who have had to go through this. But yeah, I think once we saw the berimbolo option, because there's several versions Mindy sent me, she showed the back take with the berimbolo, and I was like, the berimbolo is the one. Like, we have a purple belt stunt performer who is killing that, so let's use that.
Nikki Stanley?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Nikki was a purple belt under Eddie Bravo at the time and just had a really good berimbolo that she ripped out. And I was like, yep, we're using that. So we took the back that way. We got in our choke via that. And then I think at some point during the coordination, I was just like, the kick is over. Like we're just going to land elbows. It's going to all be elbows. And then even then we did way more on set than ended up in the film. A lot of the fight scenes and the brutality was a conversation with their distributor before I locked picture. So I was like, if I only do one, there's a scene where a character gets hit or thrown into a fire hydrant a couple of times in the movie. I had shot 3 of those, and then Bleecker Street basically was like, we need less of everything. So I said, if I only do 1 of the fire hydrant, can I do 2 more of the elbows to the face for Anna? And it was like a barter system sort of thing of like compromising on how brutal the film could be. But at the end of the day, I think that the choices that we landed on were the right amount. And I think it goes just into the point that it's maybe too much, but not fully to the point of ridiculous.